Hey everyone, we're here today to do another mod for a Star Trek premium pinball machine. And basically what the mod is, it's I bought this DMD cover here, the speaker panel, from a person on Pinside. I'll post like everybody's name and all that in the show notes of where you could order it from, or you know who the user is. But basically what I want to do is light up this Star Trek emblem with the logos in there. And I have for the speaker panels here, the left and right one, the lighted speaker kit, so that would be fine. But the way to get this lit Star Trek logo with the emblems is if you use a thing called this EL paper, which is right here to my far left here. And basically how it goes is that there's wire that's on the end of this paper. Basically it plugs into the power source on your pinball machine. It lights the whole paper up because it's all wire, but you could cut this too, it's cuttable. So basically to get the strip I have to use two pieces of that. And the problem is that on the back of this is the cut piece that I already did, which will fully light up. I tested it already. But on the back of this there's a wire that travels around the whole piece of paper that lights up the front of that. But basically there's the one that I bought, the type that I bought here, it's covered in like an acetate, like a thick, it's layered in it. So there's no way to cut this back to lift this off to put another piece of wire on here to light another piece of this paper. So for me, I have to cut two pieces to get this to fit, which is kind of a waste, like 15 bucks. And really all I need for the second half is like a piece of this, which what am I gonna do? I gotta do what I gotta do. But you could cut this, it's cuttable, so basically it would lay like on the back of it, but lay like this to cover that piece up, you know, that logo with the Star Trek emblem. So basically what I need for this project is that I need a couple splitters here, which are like this. Remember, I don't know what the type is called, but it's a Molex connector, but you gotta make sure it has like this point on the end here to my far right. And basically that goes into the pinball machine to give you power at the bottom by your coin door. On the right hand side of your pinball machine, underneath by the power sources on the bottom of the cabinet. So that's this connector. Like I said, it's a Molex connector. The power source for your EL paper you need. I bought a splitter because if I have to put 2 or 3 pieces on, it splits the wire at the end of the connection. And basically what I did already was that I already took one of these splitters like this, cut the wires off. Here, I'll use this piece and I'll just show you that. So basically the left hand side here where the point is, that's your negative, and the far right hand side is your positive on this side. So it's negative, the middle does nothing, and the right is your positive. So I took this wire already and cut it and just split it onto the power source of the EL paper. So again, negative is it was where the point is of the Molex connector, and that's this black one right here. So I'm gonna put like that rubber, you know, the cover, so the wires aren't touching each other and it doesn't short nothing out. And the far right is the positive, which is here. So I just did that to test it out in my pinball machine. It seemed like it lit the paper up. It worked. So what we're going to do next is just attach the paper to the back of the DMD panel, show you how it's wired inside the cabinet, and then we're going to like connect everything up and see how everything works. So stay tuned. Okay, so now we have the DMD panel prepared to be put back onto the pinball machine. And how I did it was I cut the 2 panels, the 2 EL paper panels out, kind of measured them to size, so they covered, you know, the images you needed to cover on the DMD panel here. So what we're going to do now is just flip over the panel here to take a look at the front, just to see the coverage of the EL paper. And basically you can see all the blue is the paper shining from the underside of it. So if we flip it out, that's what it looks like that. So again, for the speakers, we're going to have the lighted speaker panels mod. So we don't have to worry about EL paper for that, but the EL paper is going to be, like I said, on the back of the Star Trek. So let's go test it in the pinball machine, see how it looks, and then we're going to prepare the DMD panel back onto the game. We'll install the speaker panels, the lighted kit, and see how everything looks after that. Okay, so here's the L paper in the back of the DMD panel lit up. So I have it testing off the pinball machine right now. So I have it outside of the cabinet just so I can see if it works and how it looks. So it looks pretty cool. It's in blue, EL paper blue. Looks really cool. Can't wait to get the speaker LED kit on the or the speaker panel lights on the DMD panel here to make it really look good. So we know that this works, and after we're done putting it back on and all that, I'll show you how to do the installation inside the pinball machine as well, of how you wire everything and where it goes to inside the cabinet. So stay tuned for that. Let's do the speaker panel now, and then we'll get back to the EL paper wiring after that. Okay, so here we are to put in the speaker lights. So basically what we're going to do now is take out the old speaker. And in my Star Trek, I believe I have a new speaker system in this one. So when I bought the LED light kit here, basically I had to tell them, hey, I have the newer kit, because they give you posts, because the speaker for some reason doesn't fit in this one. I guess they're bigger or something like that, or the way it's set up. So you have to order the kit with the newer speaker system, and it has like this piece of paper here, this tag kind of here, so it's kind of an indication that that is the new speaker kit that I have, system on this one. So what I'm going to do now is just take off the nuts of the speakers here. And I put a towel like on my game just so I don't scratch up my side rails and stuff like that with this DMD panel that when I took it off the game. So we're just going to loosen all the nuts here. So I have a blanket here on my game with just all the different screws and stuff that I need for the kit. So that's that. So this comes off. Never mind. Excuse my hand in the way. I know this is like not fun to really watch, but it's part of the process, I guess. So now just make sure you grab all your washers here that fall off the speaker panel here. So now what we're going to do is take the speaker, put it on the side here, and then we're going to take the kit here from the speaker lighted kit and just lay it on top of the panel here, the mesh of the speaker, and then we're going to take these posts and then screw them into the studs that are already in the speaker panel, the DMD panel. So we're just going to put the 4 in, because this has to give your speaker like height, because if you try to put it in this piece right here, your speaker, it won't fit. You don't have enough the nut popping out to reach the speaker holes and stuff like that. So these kind of these posts kind of take the height distance out of the mix, and then gives you that height that you need, so you could screw your speaker back into this lighted panel here to get it to work. So now we take this back, and now it fits like that. And make sure when you're putting this in that this wire goes to the bottom, and it's like towards the bottom of your panel here. It just makes it easier when you put the DMD panel in and out. So now what we're going to do now is attach everything back together again. And we're going to take the screws that we used before and just put a washer on the underneath it, and just screw them back into this little stud here. And the kit comes with screws and all that. Again, you have to order the right one. You have to order the newer speaker panel set if you have a Star Trek, if you're doing this on a Star Trek. So I kind of just thought I would combine all these videos into one, like just the different things that we're doing of the EL paper, the DMD panel that I ordered from Pinside, and also the the speaker kit and all that kind of stuff. So it just makes it easier to do just one video. So this is going to be, and then you got to take this paper, put it back like there's a hole in the bottom of that. There's a hole on the bottom of this. I hope I don't bump into the camera while I'm doing this. I think it goes this way actually, because you want to cover that resistor up that's on the little board there. So what we're going to do now is just screw this back in. And then you just screw your nuts back into the speaker. That's it. It's good. Don't tighten it, you know, like Hercules. Just snug it down. You don't want to strip nothing out or break anything. So that's it. So that's the speakers installed. Now we're going to do the wiring to the speaker kit. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so here we are looking at the back box. What we're going to do now is show how to wire the speaker kit. You have this box. It comes with the kit. It's your power. It has the eye, which is here, this little wire, which you have to kind of have recognizable so the remote control that comes with the kit could change the color of the lighting. So you kind of have to stick that in somewhere, like stand it up so it's, you know, the infrared could get to it. Then you have these two connectors on this side, which both go into each speaker of this wire that we took out, you know, when we put in the speaker when we had on the bottom of the DMD panel. This is what connects into one of these for power. So you have two of these, so there's one on this side and one on this side. So you have that. And then basically what you do is you take it, this is a female end. So if you're taking your box, you know, and also you got the power cable here, which comes with the kit, and that plugs into this right there. So, and what you need to do is run this full wire to the front of your cabinet, which is the same kind of connector we were talking about before with the EL wire. The little plastic end here, the little point with the square on this side. So you got the negative and positive with that. So then we're going to take this kit here and then take this side, the left side, and plug it into this connector, if I could get it to fit. I believe it's notched. Yeah, there's indicators on these connectors here. There's an arrow in one corner and an arrow in the other corner. Make sure your connectors, your arrows match up with the connector. So there, that's that side. And again, the two arrows match up. You might want to put a piece of tape on this or something. Sometimes they pop out. I'll probably do that to mine. Same on this side. You got an arrow, arrow. So you want to match up the arrows like that and push them in, and that's it. So now you have your connection. So now they're powered up. You take this connector here, you run it to the front of the cabinet. Again, this plugs to the back side of the power supply. We're going to run this through the cabinet, clean up the wires a little bit, and then we're going to turn everything on and see how everything works. And then also we're going to go over the EL wiring again for the paper, for the DMD panel. Inside the front of the cabinet over, and we also have to stick the DMD panel onto the DMD panel here, the one I bought from Pinball. We have to stick that onto this and have it adhere so we can see it. So let's do all that, and we'll get to that right now. Okay, just something to kind of go over with before the installation of the DMD panel is that I kind of ran into a problem when I was trying to mount this on the back of the color, you know, the DMD panel that's already in the game that, you know, you would adhere this to. Basically, with your wiring is that there's really nowhere to run your wires except on the sides of the panel, you know, like when you put it back into the game. These have to run, like there's a gap in between the sides, like for this to fit in. So the wire I had was way too short, so I had to extend the wire. So what I did was I just had wire, extra wire, red and black spools of wire, which are like this, you know, that I had. Red, black. It's always good to keep stuff on hand. And then I just snipped the wire, you know, at the end over here, where it comes off the panel here, the EL panel. And then I added wire here, and then I took the end that I had already that I bought extras of, which is a male pin, and just extended the wire with that. So I snipped the wire, tied it together, soldered the wire together inside the rubber housing here, and just heat shrunk, you know, this onto the wire so it won't come off. Tested it and it worked. So you might want to extend the wire on this, you know, when you're putting yours in. And also on the power supply, I kind of forgot if I went over this or not, but I had to splice the connector that goes into the front of the game to the wire that comes off the power supply of the EL wire. So I snipped the wire again. Black negative is at this end with a point, positive is all the way to the right. So the black of my power supply goes to the black on this connector here of the Molex. The plus, the positive, goes to the right hand side to the power supply of this connector, of the EL wire. And then this connector that comes off the power supply of the EL wire, which is this. And I have a splitter too that has like, I don't have it in here with me, but you could split like up to 4 lines or something like that, so then it plugs into this, and all the lines plug into this off the power supply of the EL wire. So that's how everything connects. So let's mount. I'm gonna mount this onto my game probably
as quickly as I can. I'm always learning more.
So I'm gonna mount this wire or this panel to the DMD panel on my game with probably double stick tape or something like that. So I'm gonna see what I could use to mount it, and we'll show how that goes after. Okay, now the DMD panel's on the one that comes with the game. So that's how it looks. I just put it on with double stick tape by 3M, so it looks pretty good. I did all the wiring too already, so let's take a look at the wiring of how it comes from the back panel of what I just did to the inside of the head of the cabinet. So this is it. So what I did was I ran the wires in the back here. I put electrical tape over them, and I put the wires through this little notch over here so it had tightness in here in this little trench. I didn't put the 3M tape all the way to the top so there's a gap, so the wire could run in here and go through this gap, and then it runs through this electrical tape right here, and then it goes down in through the little, and I took the post off the DMD just so it had somewhere to stay like snug. So then I just ran the wire through this little trough here, and then it goes to that splitter right here where it goes into the back, into the cabinet through there, through that hole, and it runs the length of the cabinet to the front, and we'll take a look at that next. Same with this side too. Ran the wiring through here, through this electrical tape right here, just to cover it up and make it look clean. Ran the wires through this little, what do you call it, little gap in here, and then basically put everything back together. And now if you take the panel, it's hard to do with one hand, but now if you take the panel, flip it up like that, and seat it, that's how it looks, and all the wires tight, and it fits through the gap over here through the sides, so there's no wires showing, and it fits perfectly through there. So you might want to do that with yours when you do it. So let's take a look at the front of the cabinet and look at it with everything turned on afterwards. Okay, so now we're here at the front of the cabinet, and this is the power cord that comes from the EL wire. I ran it. There's also an extender on here. If you're going to buy this EL wire power supply, you might want to buy an extender just in case it's short. You may not need it, but it's just good to have. They're cheap. They're a couple bucks, and that's it. So what I'm going to do now is plug all this together, but I don't have enough splitters here, so from Pinball Life they have a splitter you could buy for a Stern SAM machine. So basically I'm going to take the power source from here, plug it into the power source into the splitter like that. Then I'm going to take the lighted speaker kit, plug that into one of them. It depends also how you mount this too. We'll put that in this side. You could mount this to the side of your cabinet or something like that. So that'll go there. And then the EL wire power supply will go into another splitter inside this this connector here. So trying to get all these wires untangled here. So then we'll take this again and plug that underneath that like that till it seats. And that's really it. So we'll clean up the wiring inside the cabinet here too. But let's, there's also wire, clean, like things that clean up the wiring over here where you want to put it to the side of the cabinet. So you might want to use those for your wire when it runs down. I did in the back, but I'm also going to actually take this and tie wrap it with some things so there's not all this extended wire in here. So let's look at the back of the head of the cabinet with the speakers and also the EL wire in the logos and see how everything looks, because everything seems like it's done on this end. Alright, so this is the finished product with the EL paper and also the speaker lighted mod. So you could see that the Star Trek logo with the emblems are lit, as are the speakers, which look really cool. And it seemed like all the colors kind of match really well too between the speakers and the EL paper. So everything looks really good, I think. Everything came out pretty good. Was easy, but as you're doing things, you kind of find out you have to change things up as you do it. So I had to do that as well, like extend the wire and just have the right things on hand when you're making this mod. Like you want extra things, you could buy some connectors, make sure you get a splitter, for the EL paper. Make sure you get some extra just connectors in case, and you might want to get another piece of that EL paper just in case, or maybe order 3 pieces if you can't cut it. So I had to just cut a piece off of mine, unfortunately, but I had to do what I had to do. So let's just zoom in a little bit on the panel here. Just to kind of get a zoom in on that, and that's what everything looks like with the camera. I think kind of throws off the EL paper a little bit as I'm looking through the viewfinder here, but the speaker panel and the EL paper match pretty well in person. So I'll put the links of where everything was ordered from. Again, it wasn't much that was ordered, it was just some things that needed for this mod to be done. So thanks for watching the video, really appreciate it. If you have any questions, email me at info@pinballsupernova.com, and you could see all my stuff at my blog, my website, www.pinballsupernova.com, and all the links to my Facebook page, my Twitter, and my blog, and my Instagram page are on my homepage of my website. Thanks for watching, really appreciate it.